Hello and welcome to the Year 9 to 10 Options Evening presentation for Health and Social Care. So here at Knutsford we do the Level 2 Tech Award in Health and Social Care. This is made up of 3 components that students will study over the 2 years where they complete the course. They will start with component 1, which is called Human Lifespan Development. This is where students spend time investigating how human development is affected by numerous different factors, and that people deal differently with various life events. They start by learning the 6 life stages that all humans grow through in their development, what terms growth and development mean, and we look at something called PIEs, which are the physical, intellectual, emotional and social factors, all of which that play a role on our development throughout our whole life. We look at economic factors and life events, as well as relationship changes and how we adapt to change at different points throughout our lifetime. Component 1, as I'll talk about on the next slide, is assessed via 2 assignments. We'll then move on to component 2, which is called Health and Social Care Services and Values. This is where students will study and explore practically the health and social care services that are on offer, both inside and outside the NHS. And how they can meet the needs of real service users. So this is where students learn about the care values, such as the 6 C's and compassionate care. They learn what different types of care are available to service users, so the difference between primary, secondary and tertiary care, as well as what different services there are for children and what informal social care is, such as young carers. Once this is complete, students then move on to spending a deal of time looking at the different barriers that there are to accessing care services. So, for example, physical barriers, sensory barriers, intellectual barriers, financial barriers that might prevent an individual from being able to access the care that they want and need. They look at how to promote independence, respect, confidentiality, dignity and communication when delivering care to service users. Like Unit 1, Component 2 is assessed via 2 internal assignments. One of those is a written assignment based on a case study where students apply their understanding of the different care services in our local area to meet the needs of the case study. The second assignment is looking as a role play assignment that looks at how to act out the different care values when delivering care to an individual. It's one that students really enjoy when it comes to it. And then finally, we've got component 3. This component is what we call synoptic unit. So it's studied at the end of the course. It's called health and wellbeing. And this component draws on the students' knowledge from component 1 and component 2 and applies it to our health and our wellbeing. So students will study the factors that affect health and wellbeing. They learn about the physiological and lifestyle indicators and learn how to design a health and wellbeing improvement plan. So they start by looking at what health is, how our genetic inheritance may affect our health, how factors like diet and exercise and substance use all have an impact on our health and well-being, as well as things like personal hygiene, social interaction, stress and accessing services. Students then go on to look at things like environmental conditions, so pollution, housing, how relationship changes and life circumstances impact on our health and our well-being throughout our life also. To end component 3, students gain an understanding of some of the physiological indicators of health. So they learn about blood pressure, how to take blood pressure, how to measure BMI, health risks that may have an impact as well, and looking at something called the person-centered approach. This component is slightly different to component 1 and component 2, whereas it is assessed via an external exam that is taken at the end of year 11. So again, how is the course assessed? 40% of the course is assessed via synoptic external assessment, so that exam that students sit, As I mentioned there, it's taken at the end of year 11, but also in the February of year 11. So students have 2 opportunities to sit the exam if needed. We like to enter students for the exam in February so that they can sort of get it under their belt before their main summer examinations. And then if they would like to resit, they can resit it in the May of year 11 as well. The exam is a 2-hour written exam. It's based on a series of structured questions and case studies, and it's out of 60 marks. There's both short and long answer questions in the exam, and learners are required to carry out an analysis of the issues and problems presented in the case studies. They're also expected to evaluate evidence, make judgments, and draw conclusions from the material presented in those case studies. And then we've got the internal assessment, so components 1 and components 2, so a total of 4 assignments, make up 60% of their BTEC award. And students can be graded as either a pass, merit, distinction at level 1 or level 2. How do students know if health and social care is the option for them? So I've just put some probing questions really on the slide here. So if you're interested in how people grow and develop throughout their life, if you're interested in all of the different factors that affect our growth and development, if you're interested in different life events that people might experience and how we cope with the change caused by these events and experiences as well. If you're interested in how different health and social care services work, so such as doctors, nurses, GP practices, if you're interested in the factors that affect our health, and if you're interested in going into a job in the health and social care sector, this would be a good course for you to choose. I hope that covers everything, but obviously if you have any other questions, I am Miss Moss. I run the health and social care course, so please do not hesitate to email me.